They can see us.
No, they can't.
Yeah, they can.
Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome to our live session launch. I'm Madhumalti and with me your co-instructor today is...
Hi, I'm Leo.
Okay. And we are very excited to be presenting this live session. The objective of starting the live session was so that people from anywhere at any time can join and learn how to code. A lot of time coding seems intimidating to people. It looks as if it's very difficult and not something that they can do. Our objective with the live series is to let people know that they can go ahead and give it a shot. It's not rocket science. It's not as difficult as it might look. This series is for those who do not need to have any programming knowledge, and we are going to be learning how to make your own app. So before we get started, Leo, is there something you want to tell us?
Yeah, so coding is really fun, and I believe that learning to code is like learning to think.
So because we are interested in creating the problem solvers of the future, we are hoping that children, both preteens and teens, go ahead and give it a shot to learn how to code so that they develop their problem solving and their logistics, the logical thinking skills. So without further ado, we are going to get started. So I hope all of you are there with your computers. It would be great to know where you are joining from. So you will see a chat window on your right. It would be great to hear where you are joining from. So feel free to go in and write on the chat window which country or city you have joined from. And let's wait for people to join in and put in their comments. I'm going to look for it.
Sure.
Okay, so we are now going to start off by going to the browser. So the first thing you need to do is on your computer, please go to the browser as you can see on the screen here and type out appinventor 2. So when you type out appinventor 2, appinventor 2 and press enter, it will show you the Google results for App Inventor. You should go ahead and select MIT App Inventor 2. That should ideally be the first one that shows up on your screen. So please go ahead and pick MIT App Inventor 2. Okay, I am hoping that you are going to be following along. In case you have any questions at any point of time, feel free to write it on the chat window on the right and we are here to answer them right away. Okay, so once you go into App Inventor 2, it asks you to choose a Gmail account. So you can choose the Gmail account which you would like. So this is one of the prerequisites for App Inventor. You need to have a Gmail account. In case you do not have it, we are just going to pause a bit so you can create one quickly from the Gmail website. So if you go to gmail.com, you should be able to create your Gmail account. So we will just give it a little pause in case you do not have a Gmail account to go ahead and create it. Okay, so I hope you have done it. Otherwise, you can go ahead and create it and then follow up on the live stream again, starting from where you left off. Okay, so once you log in to the Gmail account, it will ask you for the username and password and then you click on next. When you get to next, it will ask for permission to access your Gmail account. It's going to be saving all the projects you create. That means all the apps you make under this account. So it is perfectly okay to go ahead and says yes, allow. Okay, you will get this little pop-up here which asks if you would like to take a survey. Leo, do you have a take on whether you want to take the survey?
Yeah, I find these pop-ups quite annoying. So like we'll just say never take a survey.
I would rather say take the survey later, because App Inventor is a useful tool and we want to give them good feedback. So let's say take the survey later. Thank you. So you will now come to the welcome screen which says welcome to App Inventor 2 with this little Android thingy showing up here for you. So and it says happy inventing. So let's get started. So what do we do next?
Well, we're going to navigate to the top left and click on Start New Project. And our project name will be Talk to Me. So basically what our app's going to do is that on your phone, you will press a button and it's going to talk to you. Sounds simple, but then again, baby steps.
So we are going to be creating an app called Talk to Me, and that's what you will write down as the name of your project. Once you have done that, you will click on the OK button.
By the way, you can't have spaces.
Okay, so we will say OK and get started. Before we actually start developing the app, Leo, can you take us through the interface and what everybody sees on the screen?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so on the left, you can see your palette. This is where you can drag and drop components onto the middle viewer to be able to see how your app is going to look.
This viewer is actually what your mobile screen would look like. So whatever you drop here on this screen is what your mobile will be able to show you. Now when I say mobile, it could be a tablet or an actual mobile device as well. So both of them would work.
Okay, yeah. So on the left, you've got sections, and you can choose whichever section you want to be able to see components in that section. In the middle, you've got your viewer, where you can see how it's going to look on your phone. And on the right to that, you've got your components, which is a list of all the components you'll be using. Below that, you've got media, in case you have to upload any media files. And right on the right, we've got properties, where you can change specific settings about each component.
So then let's get started. It is not as difficult as it looks. You will see as we go along. So to begin with, to create our app called Talk to Me, we want to pick up a button and drop it on the screen. So Leo, where are you going to get a button from?
So we're going to navigate over onto the palette, and under user interface, we will see the button. Click and drag and drop it onto your viewer and let go.
So this is fairly simple. It's just drag and drop, no programming knowledge required. You pick what you need and drop it on the palette, drop it on the screen, and it will look exactly like that.
Okay, and then you will see that it says text for button 1. And that's not quite professional. So what we're going to do is that navigate onto the properties to the rightmost, scroll down a bit until we see text, and change the text to Talk to Me.
Okay. So we are going to call this Talk to Me. That's what the button will display. And you will see that as you keep changing the properties on the right, it keeps updating it right here.
Okay, so a button's not much use unless you make it do something. So for that, we're going to go over into the palette, scroll down a bit, and go into Media. And in Media, we're going to choose the text-to-speech. Drag and drop it onto the viewer. When you let go, you'll see that it jumps down below the viewer into the non-visible components. That's fine.
So it is important that you remember the component we are going to be using this time. It is called text to speech, and whatever text we write, it's going to be able to speak it out in voice. So we have just two components right now, the button and then the text to speech. So we are good for the first session, right? For the first part of it, right?
Yeah. Okay. So now we've got our designer stuff. We can now go into blocks to actually start programming. So go over to the top right and you will see blocks. Click on it. You'll arrive on this page. On the left, you can see all of the blocks. They too are color categorized. So when you click on Control, you'll see all yellow-orange blocks, and you can drag and drop them from here onto your workspace. We won't be needing this block. But what we will need is when we go into the button, scroll up, and choose when button 1 dot click do. Drag and drop it onto your workspace. And then we'll have to go into text to speech, search for a purple block which says call text to speech dot speak message, and drag and drop it inside the when button 1 dot click do. You should see a small yellow arrow, and when you let go, it should make a satisfying click noise. I'll let you catch up.
Okay, so as you can see, it is quite simple. We picked up the when button 1 clicked, and then within that we put in the text to speech which says call text to speech dot speak with message, and next to message you see that it is expecting something to come. So we will start out by putting in a text message that we want it to say. So how about welcome to your first app?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So great, you completed your first app.
Yeah, so we're going to go into text. It's the red thing here. And drag and drop this weird quotation thing with a slightly lighter shade of red. Click on it and say, great, comma, you made your first app. Okay, so now that we've done this, we can't really test it out. So here's where our phone comes in. So on your Android phone or tablet, go onto the Play Store and look for an app called AI2 Companion. Download and install that so you can see what you're doing live on your phone. I'm going to do that right now.
So you will need to go to the Play Store and download AI2 Companion, and it will have this icon of the green Android similar to what you saw when we just started it out. So just to show you what it looks like, can we see what the...
So once you install the app, you should see a screen similar to this with 3 fundamental UI settings. One will be a text box, one will be connect with code, and the other is scan QR code. So I'll let you guys install the app and do everything, but we'll just continue on. So to be able to connect up our phone with what we're doing, we're going to go onto connect at the top. And you should see AI Companion. Click on that. And then on your phone, choose scan QR code and scan the QR code. Yep. And now you should see that our app is loaded up onto our phone.
You also have the option of typing out the code which comes in terms of letters. If you don't want to scan the QR code, you can also type out those letters, and there is an option to do that. The other thing that might be useful for some of you is if you do not have an Android phone or tablet, you can download the prototyping emulator. The emulator, so for that you can go to Google and search for emulator for AI2 or for appinventor 2, and it will give you the instructions on how you can download it. So you need to download the file and install it. What that will do is open up a soft phone over here on your screen for you to be able to test out how the app will look after you have coded it. But for those who have an Android phone or tablet, it's quite simple to use this and see what it looks like on your phone. So now that you have it on your phone, this is what it looks like. You will see this little button. Can we show the...
Yeah, sure. And don't worry, because we'll have all links in the description at the end of the live stream. So in case you want to see it again and see how it's done, it's fine. We will put the links there. Okay, so what you actually see is you see a small button and tons of white screen. That's fine. So we're going to turn up our volume. And can you please click on Talk to Me?
Sure. So you can see this little button which says Talk to Me, and when we click on it...
Great, you made your first app.
So maybe you could hear it. I'll just play it again.
Great, you made your first app.
So it spoke to us, exactly what we said it should do.
So this is cool. I think it is really nice that we've been able to do the first part of the coding. We are going to be continuing to develop this app after a short 5-minute break. So if you need to do the catch up, do it now, and we will be seeing you very, very shortly. Okay, so we are back now. We're going to do the next part of the app where you're going to decide to type out something in a text box, and then when you click on the button, it is going to say what you typed out. So for that, we will need to add one more component. So if you see on your screen, you have to go back into the designer mode. And Leo, what are you going to do next?
We are going to navigate to the palette, and in the user interface, we're going to drag and drop a text box right above the button and let go. That's it. And now we go back into blocks. So what we're going to do, okay, go ahead.
So we just added a text box, and as you saw on the screen, it will now show you a text box also on your screen. So it will have a text box and a button, as you can see on this.
It should say
on the
hint
phone
for
here.
text box 1.
Okay. So what we are going to do now is program it so that it will accept whatever we type, and then when we click on the talk to me button, it is going to say out whatever we have typed in that text box.
So for that, we're going to go into the text box 1 and scroll down a bit until we see textbox1.text. It's going to be a light green block. Drag and drop it and put it in the place of call text to speech .1.speak message and replace the red text which we wrote. You can leave that there in case we need it later on. But yeah, so basically your final block should look like this. When button click, speak message, text box 1.
So what we're actually telling the program to do is speak out whatever is written in text box 1. So let's test to see what happens.
So I'm gonna write, hey guys, welcome to the stream. Turn up my volume and click on talk to me.
Hey guys, welcome to the stream.
Wonderful. So if I decide to give another message, I can go ahead and type out over here. And I want to say great.
Great to have you all here. Great to have you all here. Great to have you all here.
So you every time you
Great
click,
to have you all here.
it is going to go ahead and say the message which you have typed in the text box. So this looks kind of cool to start as the first step. But how about if we go ahead and jazz it up a little more?
Yeah, so for that, we have to be kind of real that like this app is like great and all, and you guys made it, it's your first step, but it's not really practical. So what we're gonna do is that make an app that every time you shake it, it says something encouraging. For example, when you go running and you need constant motivation, then each time you shake your phone, it should say something like, keep on running. So we're gonna do that right now. We're gonna navigate over to the designer on the top right, and in the palette, scroll down until you see sensors, and then choose accelerometer sensor. Drag and drop it onto the viewer.
The accelerometer sensor is also a non-visible component. Basically, it uses the power to see if there is any movement or acceleration. So that's why it's called the accelerometer. So we have added that component, and now we are going to code it to make it say something whenever it shakes.
I think that we should call it Alex because it makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to go into blocks and go into Alex, scroll up and choose when Alex.shaking do. Drag and drop it into your workspace. Now we're just going to copy the purple block, so click on the purple block, right click, duplicate, and get the call text to speech.speak message and change the part where it says text box, throw it away into the trash can, and select our red block and put it in. So our final form will be when Alex shaking, speak message, great you made your first step. Oh no, wait, no, sorry.
You want to say keep on running?
I'm going to say keep on running.
Okay.
Keep on running.
So as you can see, you do not have to connect it to your phone all the time. It instantaneously takes whatever has been written and coded by you on your computer.
In this case, it has disconnected. So this may happen, and if it does not reflect all your current changes, just go into Connect, Reset Connection, and then click on Connect AI Companion. And then go back into your app screen where you see this. Click on Scan QR Code and reconnect.
So it had to happen just when I said it doesn't disconnect,
Yes,
right? Okay.
it did.
But this is cool. So if it doesn't disconnect, you can keep working. The moment you see that it has disconnected, you can always reconnect back to it.
Okay, so now let's see if our motivational speaker works.
Keep on running. Keep on running. Keep on running.
That's really motivating.
So just to mention, it doesn't mean that our text part doesn't work. So our app actually has two features. One, you can type whatever you want in the text box. So I'm going to say, I am happy today. So when you click on the talk to me,
I am happy today. I am happy today. Keep on running. Keep on running. Keep on running.
so it does both of these things. You can type what you want and click on talk to me and it's going to say it back to you. Or if you shake it,
Keep on running.
it's going to do that. So I think this is a really cool
Keep on
first
running.
app that we have made. What do you think, Leo?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay, so do you feel that you're ready for it and you want to start?
Wait, this app may be done, but one thing which you have to remember is that make sure that your code is tidy. So what we're going to do, we are actually going to rename most of our components so they make a bit more sense. Because when you have many, many more components in the future, which you guys will make really advanced apps, so it becomes easier to navigate to which things you want. So to do this, we're going to go into Designer.
So this is good programming practices which is being taught by our teen programmer. Good.
Okay, so what we're going to do is that in our components, we can leave text box as text box. We can change the button, scroll, and we can change it so it says talk button. So we know that it's the button that will make it talk. So for this, click on the component and scroll down a bit until you see rename and click on that. So the old name was button 1 and the new name will be, we can take away the 1, talk button, and click on enter to register it.
Now, do I need to write all my code all over again now?
You don't actually, because App Inventor is smart and it knows that one rename means a universal rename. So it's going to rename all of the button ones which you had to your new button, talk button.
So let's go and see in the design, in the blocks.
Sure. So we're going to go into blocks in the top right and you will see that now it says when talk button dot click.
Cool. So it doesn't require any rework by renaming it, but it makes our code more reader friendly. And when I come back to it later, I'll know exactly what each component is being used for.
So I guess that now we could disclose our app, but then again, there's one more thing which I want to do. If you notice that on the text box, it still says hint for text box 1. And if you notice, it's like kind of like awkwardly halfway, a bit more than halfway into the screen. So to fix that, we're going to choose text box and scroll down in the properties menu until you see width. Click on width automatic and change it to fill parent and then click on OK. Now you'll see that it's going to fill its parent device. So in this case, our phone, it's gone all the way across. And one more thing was to change the hint. So in the properties again, we're going to scroll down until we see hint and change it to type in something you want me to say. Something you want me to say, exclamation mark. Oops, I spelled type wrong. Okay, so now you should see that it should reflect your changes onto your phone. So yeah, I think that we're done with our cleanup part of the code.
So are we good with this app?
Yeah.
So are we ready to publish? Now what happens to the projects once they are created? So Leo, can you show me? How can I go and see all the projects that I'm created? Will it go away if I log out? If I close my browser?
No, it won't, because App Inventor has a really cool feature that each time you make any change, it does a slight autosave, but you can always manually save by going on to Projects and Save Project. And then at the top, you should see a confirmation saying saved project at the date and time.
And show me how I can go and see all my projects so I know it's still there.
Sure, so all your projects, in the top part, you will see a place called My Projects. And if you click on that, you'll see the only one project you've made so far.
This sounds wonderful. I'm really happy to be able to show you all how to make the first app. And if you're ready, we can go ahead and get started on another app. Do you think we should do that? Let's do a 2-minute break and you can type it out in the comments below. Okay, so as you were seeing during the break, we're already announcing the next 6 sessions that we're going to be having starting from September and going on till the end of the year. So if you are enjoying this and if you would like to learn, please go ahead and join our live sessions. We will also make it available for those who are not able to join the live sessions to go and learn and look at for later on. We believe that education is every child's right, and our objective of the live session is to be able to reach out to children all over the world, even those who are not able to afford it, to be able to join the session and learn how it is to code. So that's the objective with which we've started the live sessions. So as we said before the break, we're now going to start off the next app. And what's interesting about it is those who like to draw and paint are going to like it too, because it's going to be our doodle app, which will help us to create doodles. So let's call it Doodle Me.
Okay, so we're going to go onto our page, and on the left we're going to see Start New Project. Click on that. And we're going to write the project name as Doodle Me with a capital M. Keep in mind you can't have spaces, by the way. And click on OK.
So what this app is going to do is allow you to draw just like you would on a doodler. So you can use either your stylus or your finger and draw out on the screen, and it is going to be able to capture what you draw. You should also be able to pick different colors, and then maybe to go further you can also take a picture and then write over it and send it out as a message. So we're going to do all of that. It looks as if it's difficult, but it's not. So we'll start with something really simple. We will just start by learning how to draw on this phone screen with our finger. So over to you, Leo. Go ahead. How do we do that?
Okay, so again we will need our friend, the button. So go into the palette and under the user interface, drag and drop a button onto your viewer and let go. And now we'll also need something to draw on. What do artists draw on?
Canvas?
Canvas it is then. So we're going to go into our palette, scroll down a bit until we see Drawing and Animation, and click on Canvas. Drag and drop it into your viewer.
Now this canvas is looking very small. I want it to be able to fit my whole screen. How can I do that?
Okay, for that, we will go onto the properties on the right of the canvas. So in your components, make sure you select canvas, and under the properties, you'll see width. Click on width automatic and change it to fill parent, and then click on OK. And then for the height, I think that we should do fill parent as well. What do you say?
Let's go ahead and do that.
Fill parent.
So the beauty of fill parent is you are not defining how big or small the canvas should be. If somebody is going to be using your app on the tablet, they get a bigger drawing board. Whereas if they are using it on the phone, they get a smaller drawing board. But your app will work great irrespective of the device which is being used for it. So fill parent is cool.
One more thing which I've realized, because if we're going to be sliding and dragging is often mistaken for scrolling as well. So what we're going to do is that go into your screen in your components and scroll down until you see scrollable, and make sure that it is unchecked, because we don't want the user to be able to scroll when they're trying to draw their Picasso masterpiece.
Sounds good. So once we're done with that, what are you going to use this button for? Which color are you going to start drawing on?
The most basic color, black.
Cool.
Okay, so what we're going to do, I think we've got everything for our designer. So we're going to go into blocks and start actually programming it. So when we arrive, on your left, click on button 1 and choose when button 1 dot click do. Drag and drop it onto your workspace. And then below that, you'll see, just drag and drop it, And then our next step will be to go onto canvas and scroll down a bit until we see color, paint color. So set canvas1.paint color. It's going to be a dark green block, and drag and drop it into the when button 1 dot click do. And then to select our color, we're going to go onto the left and choose the gray colors tab and choose the black color, and drag and drop it into the paint color.
So if you prefer to have red instead of black, feel free to drag and drop the red, and then whatever you're going to draw in is going to start with red.
In case you don't like just plain old colors, after you've drag and dropped any color, you can click on it to have more options in colors.
So you don't have to go back to the palette, you can pick it up from here. But we'll start with black to show you, and you can choose the color you want. Okay, so now I have set up the color with which I want to draw. How do I make the drawing happen?
This part is kind of complicated, but worry not, we'll show you how it's done. So what we're going to do is that go into Canvas 1 and scroll up all the way. So basically what it is that you are technically dragging the canvas around to be able to draw a line. So what we're going to do for that is that when canvas1 dot dragged, so drag and drop it into your workspace. And then you wanted to draw a line. So we're going to go into Canvas 1, scroll down until you see a purple block called call canvas1.drawLine xy xy. Drag and drop it into your workspace and put it underneath the when canvas1.dragged so it clips in with a satisfying click sound. Now this is the actual sciencey part. If you want, you can just hover over the start x, start y, prev x, prev y, current x, and current y, hover over them to be able to select any of the blocks which come down, and you'll be able to put in any of the get blocks. So you can do this at home, mix and match. Keep in mind that x will go with x and y will go with y. Mix and match and see what type of cool shapes you can make. And there are quite a few cool things you can do with just varying what you call it. Start x, prev y, current x, current y. But we'll show you how to make it so you can draw normally. So for that, we have to hover over prev x, choose get prev x, and put it into x1.
This actually means the previous x. So where you had clicked earlier,
Where you had dragged earlier.
Dragged earlier to the next one. So we are going to pick from prev x up to?
Okay, first we'll do prev y.
Okay, let's do that. So that's going to be the point from where we started dragging.
So then now on a normal coordinate system, we've got our first x and y here. That was our previous one, and then we moved here. So to reflect this one, this is our current one. So we're going to go into current x, choose get current x, and drag and drop it, and then hover over current y, choose get current y, and put it there. So now essentially what we've done is that we've got 2 points, our previous x and y, and our current x and y. And what we've done is that it's going to draw a line between these 2 points. So each time our previous and current change, it's going to keep on drawing lines, and that's going to make it seem like you're drawing normally.
Okay, so I think it is time to see what it actually does. Should we start testing?
Sure. So
Okay.
for that, you can go into your phone, open up AI2 Companion, which we already have opened up here, and then in case you forgot, you have to go into Connect, Reset Connection, Connect AI Companion to just reconnect your device, and that should be it. So now since we're connected, I'll just click on our our
Draw.
button 1, and then when I draw, we should see a line. You guys can't see it because the line is kind of thin. So we're going to change that right now.
Okay, so let's increase the thickness a bit so that whatever you draw here, I drew a smiley face, but I want to draw a thick smiley face. So let's change the thickness of my line.
So we're going to go into Designer.
Now let me make a guess. If we go to Designer, I want to change it for my line. So where do you think this block is going to be? Let's go to Blocks.
It's not blocks. We're just going to change the universal size.
I thought
Okay,
you're going to
yeah.
change it programmatically.
No.
Remember, you can either change it always for good, or you can change it within the program to draw thick and thin lines. So Leo
That
has-
would require more buttons though.
Okay.
So right now, because we're like still beginning, we're still learning how to
So
use
let's
this
change it here.
interface.
Okay, go ahead.
So we're going to go into Designer, and under Properties, we're going to see a place when we select Canvas 1. We're going to see line width. Now, usually a value between 5 to 10 is good, so we'll choose 7. Because why not?
And you can always change it after testing how it is. So I have clicked on the text for button 1. And then I can see that my line is definitely much thicker. So this is what my smiley face looks like next, with the thickness of 7. If you want it to be more or less, keep playing around by changing the line width from here. So this looks good to start with. Now what if I want to make this in red? So I want to have a button up here, Leo. I want to change the text of this button to say this is color black, and I want to have another button which is called red. And if I have understood it correctly so far, all I need to do is copy that and put it and change the color to red.
Yeah, that's actually basically it.
Let's try to
Okay.
do it.
So what we're going to do is that go into the palette and under User Interface, drag and drop a button. And when you let go, you should see it's one on top of another, even though that you put it to the side. So to fix this, we're going to go into the User Interface, in the palette, and then into Layout, and choose Horizontal Arrangement. Drag and drop that into your workspace and let go. Now put your button 1, and then right beside that put your button 2. And you should see that both of them are now stacked horizontally.
Which looks much better. So
Looks
I want
much
to
better,
change,
and it gives you more space for you to draw.
cool. I want to change the first button to say black, so I know this is the color black that I'm choosing, and the next one to say red, because I'm going to choose the color red.
Okay, so for that, what we're going to do is that click on our button 1 and scroll down a bit in the properties on the right and change the text to black. Okay, and then for our button 2, click on button 2, scroll down in the properties on the right, and change the text to red. Okay, and you should see that it reflects our live updates on your phone.
Now I want to go back to the blocks and copy and paste the code from black to red and just change the color. So then both my buttons should work well.
Okay, so let's go into blocks. Let's choose the when button 1 dot click. Click on it, right click, duplicate, and change the button 1 to a button 2. And change the paint color from black to red.
So now we have two buttons, black and red, and both of them should work. So I'm going to choose black. I'm going to make a house. I'm going to choose red and make a red door and a chimney, and choose black and make the smoke come out. So as you can see, my beautiful masterpiece here with both black and red. How cool is that? So what I would propose for you all to do is go ahead and pick 3 more colors and add them as buttons, and we are going to be doing that at the same time. So you can pick the 3 colors that you want.
I think before that, before we actually do the colors, there's one valid thing which we've completely overlooked. Sure, great, you've drawn a house and all that. Oops, what if you make a mistake? How do you clear everything you've done? You stuck with this and you frantically try to be able to clear it, but you can't.
Okay.
And you can just draw more. So how you fix that?
So let's learn how to go ahead and clear it so that you can start with a clean canvas every time you click on the clear button. Good point.
For this, we're actually going to create a clear button. So we're going to go onto the designer on the top right and click on user interface. Drag and drop a button inside our horizontal arrangement. Scroll down, change the text to
Eraser?
clear. Eraser
Clear?
would be white
Okay.
to erase, but
Okay.
it's
We'll
coming.
do that later.
It's coming.
Okay.
Patience.
So let's just clear
Yeah.
and
so
start with a blank slate again.
yeah. So we're
Okay.
going to go into blocks and choose button 3. Scroll up all the way. When button 3 dot click do. Drag and drop it onto your workspace.
What
And,
do you want it to do? Clear the canvas.
well, we did make a button called clear.
Okay.
Okay, so moving swiftly on, we're going to go into canvas 1, scroll down a bit until we see a purple block called call canvas1.clear.
See how intuitive it is? See how simple it is? It says exactly what you want to do. That's like normal language. So give it a shot. Put in the canvas 1 clear and then we should see how it happens. So let me first draw.
So then it's fine, I'll draw now because I will teach you how drawing is really done.
Okay.
So we're going to go over and we're going to draw our thing, and then when you're and then you draw red even, oh lovely, modern art right here. And then when you don't think it's modern art enough, you just click on clear and everything you've done goes away.
So that shows that it's time for me to draw. Okay, so I'm going to draw a person. With a number person. And if you don't like it, Leo, what are you going to do?
Clear, clear.
Ah, okay. So then it's clear. Super. So this was a really interesting thing. Now with 5 more minutes to go, I would like to give you the opportunity to ask any questions you have so far, and we are going to show you how to create the color buttons one more before we end today's session. But for the next session, do join us. We are going to continue with the PaintBot app because we are going to be adding more features on it. Like I said, we will add more buttons. We will show you how to take a picture.
And put that as your background photo. You can also choose a background photo from your own gallery. You can also save your photo.
And you can also send this as a message.
And you can also send it
to your friends. So we are going to be building a really cool Doodle Me app. We will continue working on this and I hope you are going to enjoy this. So far, if you have any questions, feel free to type it out right now. We are going to be looking at the comment box and answer any questions that you have so far. So feel free to type out your questions and definitely join us for the next sessions which have been announced. We have 6 sessions announced for later. So I would like to go and see if there are any questions, Leo.
Yeah, sure. We actually do have some.
Okay.
Hi, a couple of years ago doing coding classes with you. Message rejected. Hey, I've used a tutorial for this made by MIT.
That is very nice to know, Vincentus, that you have already done this tutorial with MIT. That's our idea. And there are apps for only a couple of them made. And our objective is to be able to make more apps and more tutorials so you can continue to do it. And I hope you are loving to code even now, Vincentus. I'm so glad you are able to join. This is really cool. If there are any more questions, feel free to type them out. We are happy to answer them for you.
Okay, cool, thanks. No problem.
Super.
Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. What do you think?
Yeah, I was just wondering if you want to add the buttons now or you feel we are going to continue it next time. So when we come back next time, we will have added 2 more buttons for the color, and we are going to teach you how to go ahead and add more things. So stay tuned, continue to follow us here and join us for the next sessions which have been announced. Thank you all so much for joining. Leo, any last words from you?
Okay, see you guys and keep coding. Have fun.